I followed many of your interviews, and I saw one that you did with Vogue, where you also spoke about the extreme sexualization of imagery today
Yes.
when it comes to girls, and how we think that, oh, that's emancipated, but it isn't always, because it's so commercialized, it's so massy, it's so much pressure on young girls. Talk a little bit about that.
So, to embrace your femininity
Yeah.
is amazing. I feel like at that, like when you embrace that, it's incredible. But at the same time, when it's taken from a man's lens or a man's eye,
Yeah.
it's that view is very different.
The male gaze.
Male gaze is very different from a woman's gaze and how you look at yourself. So, I remember I shot for the cover of GQ,
Yeah.
and the stylist was a woman, Antara
Yeah.
Motiwala,
Yeah.
and the photographer was a woman, Sinye, who shot my wedding.
Yeah.
And the comfort that I felt while I was shooting for a magazine that was meant for men, because I was shot like by a woman and styled
Yeah.
by a woman,
Yeah.
was very different. Because I know that if it was a man shooting me or a man styling me, a straight man
Yeah.
shooting me or styling me, it would
Yeah.
have been a completely different kind of idea, and it wouldn't have looked the kind of same. I
Yeah.
was very comfortable, and it was a very sexy shoot. It was me embracing my body. I was in red latex. I'm usually very modestly dressed. I'm more comfortable covering up. So that was different. It was new for me, and it's one of my favorite shoots that I've done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there is, you should embrace it, but embrace it for yourself.
But
not
there's that thin line, right? How do you find that? Because I know that so many young girls today growing up in the age of Instagram, they
Yeah.
only see themselves through that filter.
Honestly, Barkha, I think your the worldview has changed because a lot of them actually do it for other women. Because I have a lot of cousins who are in that generation. I'm
Yeah.
the eldest amongst all of my Kapoor cousins that
Yeah,
are there and
yeah.
that are thriving right now. And I see that they are actually a lot of the Gen Zs that are out there and Generation Alpha that are out there
Yeah.
are they are either extremely conservative or extremely free thinking. I think this is a generation of extremes that
Yeah,
are there. And they are either very free thinking or conservative in the way they portray themselves. And it's the way the generation thinks. It's not something as a millennial that I understand
Yeah.
very much, but they do celebrate themselves, and there is a fine line. And I think in our generation and the generation before that, it was more for the masculine gaze. Over here, I think it's more for the social media and what their friends are saying and how they're liking it. And it's that, like, it's a different vibe than what we had.
No,
when we were growing up.
I was telling this story. I went to receive an award the other day, and I went